Some of the American media outlets also said that this man who carried out this deadly attack, Mr. Shamsud-Din Jabbar, he could be linked with any global terrorist outfit.
This is an individual act. Okay,
This is an individual act.
even if he was linked to a group, which I don't know whether he was or not, but even if he was linked to a group, it was his decision.
What is your assessment? How media is portraying this incident?
Most mainstream media outlets are very responsible. They are reporting it responsibly.
In 2025, how you see relations between Pakistan and United States?
Muslims living in America do not want illegal immigrants coming to this country.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello and welcome to program Insight in V News English. Dear viewers, very unfortunate incident took place in New Orleans city in United States of America, and that was too on the eve of the New Year celebrations, when a former military veteran of the United States Army, driving a speedy truck, crushed a crowd which was celebrating New Year in New Orleans downtown, resulting into, unfortunately, a killing of 15 people and injuring many more, including 2 policemen. They were also injured. But right on the spot, the police fired back and killed the attacker. There are other reports which suggest that the attacker killed himself. To discuss this all, what is latest investigation on what front investigation is moving? Is it an individual act, or it is linked with any group or anything like that? And President-elect Donald Trump, who will be assuming office this month, has also made a statement. We will also get the analysis of his statement by our worthy analyst who is in Washington, and all related issues. To discuss this all, we are fortunate to have with us senior journalist, senior analyst based in Washington, Mr. Anwar Iqbal. Mr. Anwar Iqbal, very warm welcome to Program Insight. And to begin with, without any delay, that where is latest investigation? No, incident has already occurred. The suspect has been shot dead right on the spot. But it has been declared that he is a former United States Army veteran who has served in Afghanistan. So far, the President-elect Trump has also said that Trump administration will extend full cooperation to New Orleans police, and that cooperation will be extended by FBI in exposing the real motives or real facts behind this deadly shooting. What is the latest investigation into this incident?
They said that they had recovered some material from his car that indicated a possible link or at least sympathies with the ISIS. He is an army veteran, and it is common here in America for army veterans who actually, what happened in this country, that a lot of army veterans become, although he was not a homeless, he had a proper job, and he was a well-liked person within his circle.
He was earning well, as per reports.
He was earning well and everything. But it is not uncommon here for such people to develop what is called PTSD, post-traumatic disorder. People in the armed forces, especially those who have been deployed abroad, who have participated in the war, they suffer from all sorts of mental disorders, and they often indulge in violent activities. People, retired people from the armed forces, have committed such acts before too. First of all, the first thing that I would like to say is that we American Muslims, whether they are from South Asia, from the Middle East, or from anywhere else, they strongly condemn it. from Africa, yes, they strongly condemn it. It is an act that cannot be justified by any means. We see it as an act of terror, as a terrorist act, and we, all of us living here, are ready to fully cooperate with the U.S. Agencies, with the U.S. government, with the local police, with whoever needs support. We are there. Muslim organizations have issued statements condemning this act. They have offered their help. They have offered to cooperate with the investigation and everything. The second point that I want to make is that this is an individual act. Okay,
this is an individual act.
Even if he was linked to a group, which I don't know whether he was or not, but even if he was linked to a group, it was his decision to actually seek out a militant organization in the Middle East or wherever he got attached to them from. If he did, so far we have not seen any evidence to suggest that he was linked to any group. But even if he was, it was his own individual act. The Muslim community in America has nothing to do with this. They had nothing to do with him. There is nothing to indicate that he was active in the Muslim community, that he has links with other Muslims living here. He was an individual who decided to indulge in this act, and therefore we all condemn him. And the third important point is that we want the Americans in general to realize that Muslims are as Americans as anybody else, and that the Muslim community should not be targeted for this individual act. We should not be singled out as terrorists. We should we respect U.S. laws, and we respect the U.S. culture. Those who live here, those who are American citizens, they love their country too, and therefore the entire community should not be blamed for this act, and they should not be condemned for this act.
They should not be condemned for this act. Very truly, you have pointed out. I would just make a question that any other people have been taken into custody for interrogation and investigation?
I don't think so. People have been interrogated, but so far nobody has been arrested. But as you said in your initial remarks, this investigation, this is a closed investigation. They're not making public. They're not sharing their whatever they found. They're not sharing it with the people. And obviously, it is too early to share anything with the public. We will learn more about it when the police go to the court and submit a challan, as we call it in Pakistan, or submit their initial statement, and then we will probably know more. Or if there is a briefing with the police. So far, there's been no public briefing. There has been no public statement revealing, except condemning the act, or except if giving initial details. There has been no briefing that could tell us what actually happened and who was responsible and how it happened.
Anwar Iqbal Saab, so on a political front, we have seen many statements of President-elect Donald Trump. He has also made a fresh statement, and his hint was towards immigrants. And he said that the criminals we have are different one, but the criminals who are coming are worse than the local criminals. His hint was definitely towards immigrants coming to the United States. What do you think in the mid of January, when President-elect Trump will be assuming his responsibilities? Any tough measures you predict that might be taken against immigrants?
See, I'll comment on President-elect Donald Trump's remarks later. The first thing is, it's what we know so far is that he was not an immigrant. The initial information shared with the public shows that he was born in the United States, born and brought up here, and probably, most likely, he was an African American. So apparently his parents and grandparents have also been living here. So to say that immigrants are responsible for this is a bit of a stretch. Uh,
Mm.
but even if he were an immigrant, as I said, it was an individual act. Yes, we know the Trump administration has made it very obvious. It was part of their election campaign too that they would deport illegal immigrants living in this country, and that they would stop illegal further illegal immigration. That they would tighten control at the borders, and this is something that most people in America welcome. Even a Muslim living in America do not want illegal immigrants coming to this country. They are held responsible for their acts, and so that they become a part of the American life. And even President Trump, during a recent debate involving Elon Musk, two of his senior advisor, and Vivek Ramaswamy, president, both of whom were advocating for not only continuing but enhancing H-1B visas, which is visas for highly skilled professionals. And so President Trump said, "Yes, we do need such people." We believe the president-elect, and we understand that his position is against illegal immigrants, not against those who are living here legally and they are contributing to the American economy.
That's true. But coming to another point that you highlighted, that most of the war veterans are post-traumatic disorder they are having. So there is no any rehabilitation facility in United States. Of course, it's quite obvious that
There
there have
are,
been.
there are,
Yeah.
there are rehabilitation facilities, and they have a veterans department that also tries to help them. But this war experience is very traumatic. It's
Oh,
huge.
horrible.
I mean,
Yeah,
people who
horrible.
participate in war, what do you do in a war? You go and you
Blindly
fight
killing.
and you kill other humans, and that is not, killing another human is no joke. It is it impacts you for the rest of your life. It lives with you, and therefore those who go to war, not all of them, but some of them are unable to cope up with its after effects, and they become mentally disordered. And so there obviously is need for doing more, and there is need for rehabilitating these people in a way that they become useful part of the society and do not become a burden on the society. You have, again, it does not apply to this man because he had a respectable job. He was a real estate agent, but you have been to America and you have seen a lot of veterans become homeless and they live on the streets. And even those who do not, as this case shows, who do not become homeless, who do get jobs and everything, even they have these have mental problems. So that should be looked into, and they should try to find a cure for this.
Anwar Iqbal Sahab, you have been watching American TV networks and you have been reading newspapers. What is your assessment? How media is portraying this incident? Is American media, as we know in the past, they have been they have been presenting a twisted image of most of the incidents, and the incidents allegedly have been linked with the Muslim community. Although you said that the Muslim community in the United States strongly condemned this heinous act. So, what is the analysis in American TV networks and newspapers? What is their
See,
angle?
it is American media is huge. There are thousands of newspapers in this country. There are thousands of media outlets, TV channels, and now the social media and everything. And there are some very responsible media outlets like the New York Times, like the Washington Post, and they, as always, they've been very careful. They've been very responsible. They've always pointed out that Muslims as a community should not be condemned, should not be held responsible for such acts. But there are also other, particularly social media outlets, that have a particular point of view on this issue. They do blame Muslims as a community, and they do actually play up these things. But I think most mainstream media outlets are very responsible. They are reporting it responsibly.
I would like to seek your comments that there was another incident just few days back that was in Las Vegas when a Tesla cyber truck exploded outside Trump Hotel. So, any linkage has been established between that and this particular incident? Because some of the Americans are reporting that possibly
Yes,
this could be. Yes.
yes, you are right. I mean, there were some media reports, particularly social media reports, that tried to link the two incidents. But so far, I have not seen statements from official circles linking the two incidents. They are. It seems that they are treating them as different incidents, but you never know what where future investigations lead to.
So, coming to now that some of the American media outlets also said that this man who carried out this deadly attack, Mr. Shamsud-Din Jabbar, he could be linked with any global terrorist outfit. So, any link has been established either with Daesh or with IS or with any other foreign terrorist organization?
Well, there are two or three things that have been highlighted in the media and that have been shared with the public that he had an IS flag in his car, that there were videos previously recorded and put on various social media, put on his social media accounts that indicated his sympathy with militant groups operating in the Middle East. But so far, uh, they are not. They have not gone beyond that. They are not sharing what they found, what they have found so far. I think we would know this we'll know this in a few days when the matter goes to the court.
The matter will go to the court. So, other than Trump administration, transition administration, what is the reaction by the current American administration, which is about to leave the White House? What they have
What
been saying
could be
about
the
this?
what could be the reaction, or what would be the reaction of any administration? Obviously, they
Condemn,
condemned
definitely.
it. They condemned it. They offered all cooperation to the local police in New Orleans. The FBI is already there on the scene, and President Biden has instructed the FBI to cooperate with the investigators. All other federal agencies are supporting this investigation. So whosoever is in power, that does not really make any difference. Whichever president is there in the White House, whichever administration is there in Washington, it will obviously support this investigation. They will try to reach to the bottom of this, and they will try to find other culprits if they are involved. And even if it leads to another country or another region, I'm sure the Americans would go to that place or that region wherever it originated in, and they will hopefully be able to catch them.
Again, drawing your attention on Trump's statement, he said the crime rate is highest in United States of America. So one thing that what could be done, of course, there have been series of articles and recommendations and commissions how crimes could be controlled, and linked with the crime rate is the availability of highly sophisticated weapons. So please share with our audience that any move in the future under Republicans to consider controlling the openly available weapons and guns and these whole things.
No, so far the Republicans strongly support the groups that actually want Americans to have this right of buying weapons from the open market. They're against restrictions on buying weapons, and there's been no change in their policies on their attitude. There have been other incidents too. There have been shootings in schools in which dozens of people have been killed. There have been shootings at public places, at concerts, at meetings, but that didn't really force them to change their views. They still support free access to weapons.
And second, the first part of the question, the highest crime rate about which Mr. Trump has referred that American
I
society is the
don't.
most crime.
I I don't
Do
know.
you
I mean,
think?
I don't know
Please.
when. I mean, even if the crime rate is as high as Mr. Trump is saying, obviously the immigrants are not responsible for it. Uh,
Hmm.
Most of them, those who commit such crimes, street crimes, mugging, murder, looting,
Exactly.
are done by U.S. citizens and born Americans, not
Hmm.
necessarily by immigrants. There may have been some immigrants involved in these things, but most of the crimes are committed by the local people, as it happens elsewhere in the world. It is the local population that indulges in such activities. So I think it is not right to blame immigrants for this.
Anwar Saab, in the past we have seen, and you must have read such reports since you live over there, that there have been extremism among many Americans, even immigrants, local white, and even the citizens with a background of different ethnic origin. So, at the policy level in Washington, has there been any move? Likewise, in Pakistan, there have been many initiatives in the past to de-radicalize such groups, such people, and it happens in different parts of the world. So, tell us any policy level, any initiative that is meant to focus how to counter this rising extremism, how to re-radicalize these groups, because it's a very advanced society where there is a very focused
Well,
research
well,
emphasis.
first of all, Mateen, I is there more extremism in America than it is in other countries? Are there more extremist groups in America than say they are in Afghanistan or in Pakistan? I don't know. I doubt it. I mean, there are extremist groups. There must have been some, particularly right-wing extremists who oppose immigrants, who oppose colored people and everything. They are there, but there are such people everywhere in the world, and there are programs aimed at dealing with these things. But you're right. America is a very powerful country. It has a lot of resources, and it does not. It does not deploy as much resources for dealing with this as it should. I mean, there should be programs for de-radicalizing these people. There should be programs aimed at returning veterans. There should be programs aimed at finding employment. I mean, the main thing is employment, but although not in this case, but unemployment is a major reason. So there should be programs aimed at finding employment for everyone. And there is need to do more to deal with with this radicalization that you are referring to. America could do more, as other countries could do more.
Exactly, and I would like to seek your comment that during the election campaign in 2024, the economy remained the biggest challenge. Providing economic relief to common American has been our biggest challenge. There have been statement pledges by both sides, by Republicans and Democrats. And this economic reason is, and the poverty is one of the reason of this rising extremism. So, what do you think? To what extent the new administration is expected to tackle the issue of poverty, or issue of this you referred unemployment, a lack of economic resources? Anwar Saab.
See, there is a basic difference between over this issue between the Democrats and the Republicans. The Democrats want to address this issue by empowering the working class. They want to create more jobs for them. They want to create more programs aimed at taking them, at training them, making them learn new skills. They sort of open more community kitchens to provide food and relief to such people. They have sort of also to reach out programs. The Republicans, on the other hand, approach it differently. They say that instead of providing facilities to the working class people, if you create a situation where investors are encouraged to invest in America, where jobs are kept in America and not sent abroad, that will solve the problem on its own. So their approach is that empower the
Foreign
ruling
direct
elite,
investment. You are referring to
empower
the
the
foreign
ruling.
direct.
Not foreign direct investment. FDI is not an issue in America. Americans have enough of their own money. If they want to invest, they can invest here, and that will be enough for the economy. The thing is, their approach is that give more facilities to the ruling elite, and that will lead to expansion in business activities, and which in return will create more jobs.
Mhm.
I don't know if it
So
works or not.
they will be focusing on this angle, Republicans.
They will be focusing on this. Yeah.
So another important thing is finally we are close to the program, and one or two very quick questions. What do you think after Trump, when he formally assumes responsibility? What do you think? There have been very complex challenges, and he has made several statements which were strongly denounced by the one of the top rivals of the United States, including Russians, Chinese, and these all things. And keeping in view this Ukraine war and the past wars, do you think United States in the new administration will be on the path of war or will be on the path of reconciliation and peace with particularly rival nations?
God, that's a very big question. See, in Ukraine, I think the Trump administration will want to end the war, and it is believed that he has let's put it this way, a strong relationship with the Russian leadership to bring this war to an end. He considers President Putin among his friends. People in America, some people, not all, say that he will be able to use his relationship with Putin to bring this war to an end. On other sectors, his approach will not be much different. I mean, in the Middle East, in the Palestinian crisis, he believes that further strengthening Israel is the way to go, and he has already said that that's what he wants to do. He would continue helping Israel in dealing with this, and he does not, I think, even support the two-nation theory, which the Biden administration did, that of creating two states, one for Palestinians and one for Israelis. He and many in the party, in the Republican Party, believe that only one strong Israel is the solution, not two states. And on the Syrian issue also, I think he would can more or less continue the policies of the Biden administration, which is to avoid direct involvement as much as possible, to keep American troops where they are, to let Israel maintain a presence on Golan Heights, and also Washington would help the rebel groups who now control Syria. It would like to help them form a united government that could bring some peace to the country.
Anwar Saab, to take the benefit of your presence, I will quickly seek your valuable comments on the story carried out by Washington Post exposing the Indian intelligence for running a subversive and a killing network in Pakistan that is called transnational crimes being committed by India. So this is first time an investigative report that has been published by Washington-based newspapers. Your analysis on that, to what extent it has strengthened Pakistan's case when Pakistan raises this issue with the US administration in the past through a number of dossiers that India is indulged in transnational crimes and terrorism in other countries, including Pakistan.
I think this is obviously this helps Pakistan's case a lot. I mean, this was not the first report. Of course, this was the first report in a Washington-based newspaper, but then the Guardian published a similar report in April last year, and that report was reproduced by most American media outlets, and there have been other. I mean, this was a huge report, and with a lot of investigation and everything, so it drew much
Exactly.
attention, and it definitely highlights the points that Pakistan has been talking about for quite some time. But even before that, there were stories in various newspapers and media outlets pointing out that what the Indians did in America, or they were doing in Canada, is something that they learned in Pakistan by assassinating Pakistani citizens inside Pakistan. And after learning these tricks, they tried to use those tricks in North America as well. So I think this is a good opportunity for Pakistan to reach out to the international community, to use the UN platform, and to cooperate with other nations in exposing what India has been doing for quite some time. And Indians have become very aggressive on this issue, and they do feel that they are now strong enough to go beyond their borders and go to other countries and conduct such illegal activities. So I think Pakistan should take advantage of this report and show the world what India is doing in Pakistan.
Lastly, you have already given a lot of time. In 2025, how you see relations between Pakistan and United States, despite many challenges, despite issue with Pakistan, that how Pakistan will be managed to maintain balance between Beijing and Washington. How you see quickly the relations between these two countries, once nuclear South Asia, Pakistan, about which there have been very, very serious statements in the month of December. So,
I would say
time ahead,
wait and see. The Trump
wait and see.
administration has not taken over yet. They will on the 20th of January. And then Mr. Trump, he always work. I mean, well, I shouldn't say always. We saw in his first term that his approach was different from the traditional approach of previous administrations. They only followed or I should say, mainly followed the instructions they received from the State Department, from the Pentagon, and from the agencies, and based their policies on those instructions. So did Trump, but from time to time, he took a lot of independent decisions. He would just get up one morning and post a tweet or issue a statement that would even surprise the State Department and other U.S. government agencies. And often those statements or tweets were released without consulting the concerned departments. And so he is capable of doing that in his second term too. For instance, the thing that is being discussed in Pakistan very much is how would he approach the domestic political situation in Pakistan? Whether he would bring pressure for getting Imran Khan out of prison. Of course, if you listen to the PTI people, I was discussing it with one such person last night at the party. He is a strong PTI supporter, and they believe that they have enough ties in the coming, enough influence in the coming administration that they would be able to persuade the Trump administration to do something to bring Imran Khan out. But I am not that sure, because he may or he may not. After all, he will receive instructions from the State Department, and those instructions will not be much different from what they have been telling the Biden administration. Now, it depends on how much influence the PTI has on the people who would be included in the new administration. If they have as much influence as they say they do, then obviously somebody, if not Trump himself, somebody in the Trump administration, the new Secretary of State, or Mr. Richard Grenell, who is the envoy for special missions, one of them would reach out to the Pakistani government and ask them to release Imran Khan. But I don't see it happening at the presidential level. I don't see President Trump getting up and calling the prime minister or the army chief wanted to do this. Even if the pressure comes, it will come at a lower level. But I'm not sure if it will happen, because we will have to wait and see how. First of all, Pakistan is not a priority item on their agenda. Pakistan is not where it used to be, say, 10, 15 years ago. So they have to deal with other pressing issues first, and then they will come to Pakistan. And when they come to Pakistan, it is not still very clear if they would actually get so involved as to ask for the release of a political prisoner or not. It is not very clear.
Thank you so much indeed, senior journalist, analyst based in Washington, Mr. Anwar Iqbal, for sharing your very, very valuable thoughts, analysis, and very insightful into this New Orleans incident, and also Pakistan-United States relations in 2025. Despite your busy schedule, you spoke to
Thank you
this
very
program,
much.
and also taking the advantage, wishing you and your family and friends a happy new year. And
Thank
dear
you. Thank you.
viewers,
The
till
same
our
to you.
next program, goodbye and Allah Hafiz from studios.
Thank you. The same to you. Have a very happy new year.